Today we're going to talk about multiplying and dividing fractions. Also, I just want to remind you that this is for parents and caregivers to give you a review of these processes as you help your children with their homework. Multiplying and dividing fractions is very straightforward, which is kind of nice. So let's just get right to it. So first of all, review. A fraction is a number, a division bar, and another number. This is the numerator, this is the denominator. So when we multiply, let's say 1/2 times 1/4. Multiplication, like I said, is very straightforward. We multiply the numerators. 1 times 1 is 1. And we multiply the denominators. 2 times 4 is 8. 1/8. And you're like, what does this mean? And that's a good question. 1/2 times 1/4 is, what we're really saying is 1/2 of 1/4. Okay, so going back to our pizza example, we have a pizza divided into 4 equal parts, and we're only talking about one of these parts. So let's say this part. Use a different color here. So we're talking about 1/4 of the whole pizza. But then we want 1/2 of this 1/4. So using a different color, we do half of it. Now, we're only talking about this much. But our answer is in 1/8. So what we've done, we have imagined that we have divided this into 8 parts. And how many parts have we used? One of them, 1/8. So that gives you a bit of a picture of what's happening with multiplication. Often we're going to end up with a slice or a part that's smaller than either of these two. Now, division it's easier, or rather it's the same thing. So let's use this 1/2 divided by 1/4. Now, in grammar, you may have learned that we don't use a double negative, that it undoes something. And we don't say no, not in a row. So this is our not rule, because we're going to make this into a multiplication problem. We take the division, we do the opposite operation, which the opposite of division is multiplication, and then because we need a double negative to undo it, we turn this one over. And that way we can work it as a multiplication problem. Again, the numerators, 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. Now we can reduce that. I'm not going to talk about that right now. That's another video. But again, if you want to remember it, and some kids find it funny, the not rule. We use the opposite operation, and then we flip the second fraction, not the first fraction. It's always the second one. So, quick review. Let's do just a couple more right here. 1/3 times 1/6. Well, let's make it a little harder. Let's do 2/6. 1 times 2 is 2. That's our numerator. 3 times 6 is 18. That's our denominator. Again, that can be reduced if your student is already doing that, but we're not going to do that right now. This is the answer. There's another one that's an equivalent answer, but don't worry about that if your student isn't doing that yet. Another one, let's see here. Let's do 2/5 times 3/4. Numerators first. 2 times 3 is 6. Now the denominator is 5 times 4 is 20. Now let's do the same thing, but as division problems. Let's do 1/3 divided by 2/6. Again, first fraction is written down the same way. We do the opposite operation, and then we flip this one. The 6 now goes on top and the 2 on the bottom. And then we treat it just like a multiplication problem. 1 times 6 is 6. 3 times 2 is 6. And just a freebie here, any number over itself is 1. And we're going to actually be using this rule when we talk about denominators that are not the same, when we add and subtract. Let's do this one as a division problem. 2/5 divided by 3/4. First fraction remains in the same form. Division becomes multiplication, and then we flip it, or the correct term is you use its reciprocal, or we invert it. 2 times 4 is 8, and that's our numerator. 5 times 3 is 15. So actually, to be really honest, multiplication and division is much easier, although you would think it would be much more complicated. Just remember the not rule when it comes to division. The opposite operation, and then invert or flip the second fraction. And also hand signals can be very helpful with young children, because when I work with students, I'll just talk them through it. Opposite operation, and then I'll say, what do we do to the second fraction? And they kind of look at me kind of blank. Just this becomes something that they remember. Oh, I flip it. And we're going to do that in a lot of different applications. So, multiplication and division of fractions. Okay, I had some questions about the not rule. That wasn't extremely clear. So let's go at it this way. When you ask these questions, what operation is not division? It's multiplication. What fraction is not 1/4 or its opposite? It's 4/1. So it's not division, and it's not this fraction. It's their opposites, and that's why we use this negative, because we're talking about opposites here. So 1/2 divided by 1/4. Division is not. What is not division? It's multiplication. It's 1/4. What is not 1/4? It's 4 ones. So maybe that will help make it a little clearer. If it doesn't work for you, just don't use it. Some people will, that'll make a lot of sense to them, and some people are like, I don't need that. So if it doesn't work for you, don't use it.